All right, my fine arts family, gather round. It's time for another episode of the SoundstageEDU podcast. My name is Mike, and whether you're listening in the car, in the dressing room, waiting for a rehearsal to start, or hiding in the practice rooms, pretending you're doing scales when you're actually scrolling TikTok, well, this one's for you. Especially my theater kids. Welcome back to school. The lockers, they smell the same. The cafeteria food somehow tastes worse than last year. And if you're like most fine arts kids, you're trying to figure out how to balance late nights at rehearsal with that AP English essay that's due tomorrow. And let's be honest, some of y'all just completely checked out this summer. Marching band, drumline kids, you've been grinding since July in the blazing sun, so you're a little ahead of the game. Choir, orchestra, you're already warming up. But theater kids, I love you, but a lot of you just absolutely ghosted your craft for 3 months straight. And now it's time to get back in the groove. And here's the thing. As fine arts students, you're constantly under the microscope. Like it or not, administration is always looking at you guys, and they're looking for a reason to cut programs, trim budgets, or claim the arts aren't necessary. And I don't know if you know that or not, but it's true. They're watching. And they're not just watching how you perform on stage or how your band is doing or how good they are compared to the one down the street. They're actually watching how you perform in the classroom. And if we're being brutally honest, if fine arts students are seen as the slackers, the troublemakers, the ones always behind on assignments, guess what? That feeds directly into the argument to take away your funding, your shows, your competitions, your safe spaces. But if you're the shining stars, not just under the lights, but in the classroom too, that's power. That's proof. And that's the grit that we need you guys to show the administration on a daily basis. Now, I'm not saying they call you slackers and troublemakers or that you guys are always behind. But I do know for a fact that a lot of people in administration love to say that, regardless of the facts. So that means we have to stand out just a little bit more. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So let's talk about grit, because I say that a lot. I say you guys have grit. So what does that mean in this context? I mean, you guys already know what grit feels like. Theater kids, you know the grind of memorizing lines until 2 or 3 in the morning when you should be in bed. Running a scene again and again until your voice cracks. And until you finally nail that emotional beat that you've been struggling with. That's grit. You know what that's like. Musicians, same thing for you. You know what it's like to run the same passage 100 times until the articulation locks in. Until everyone is balanced and everyone is in tune. Dancers, you push through sore muscles, blisters, exhaustion, sometimes sprain injuries. I mean, the list goes on and on. That grit, the discipline that you've built in the arts, it's not just for the stage. It's not just for the football field. It's not just for the contest room. This grit is transferable. The same fire can fuel your schoolwork. Imagine what happens when you bring your rehearsal mindset into algebra, into chemistry, into that history essay that you're dreading. Suddenly, you're not just the theater kid. You're the student who shows the administration that fine arts produces the sharpest, most driven, most unstoppable students in the building. And I have statistics behind this. These are facts. These aren't just me rambling on because I'm a fine arts guy, that I was a product of the fine arts. I attribute most of my success in my life to what I learned in the fine arts, to what I went through growing in the fine arts. So, to my theater kids, let's talk straight. You can't roll into auditions this fall acting like the last 3 months didn't happen. Your directors need leaders. Your casts need energy. Your tech team needs technicians, and your school needs you to show up as more than a warm body filling a seat. Take that creativity, that insane ability that you have to connect dots that nobody else sees, that willingness to take risks on stage and in the tech booth, and pour it into your academics. Don't just pass. Don't be average. Excel. Be undeniably great. Because the truth is, your art lives and dies on the health of your school. When the school thrives, the arts thrive. When students in the arts are top performers across the board, not just on the stage, nobody can touch you. Nobody can argue with you when you stand out like that. So let me tell you something. My one dip into the stage. When I was your age, I had a show where I was cast in this role that scared the life out of me. I'm going to take a drink real quick. I literally had to stay on the stage. We were in chairs, I believe. It's like an interview thing. Or, how do I put it? We were telling a story. And there were 3 storytellers on the stage, like narrators. And the other kids acted out all the stuff that we were telling. But the thing is, I had to stay on that stage front and center for the whole darn show. Scared the life out of me. I was not ready. Those of you that have listened for a little bit to this, you've heard me say that I'm not a social person. Those of you that actually know me in person know that for a fact. I am not a social person. I do not like to be the center of attention. Some of my family is just amazed that I'm even doing this, that I would dare get on a microphone and share my heart with a bunch of people I don't know. But this is important to me. But back to my story. I was, like I said, I was not ready. I flubbed lines in rehearsals. I bombed blocking notes. I was basically a walking train wreck. I was that guy that your director could not stand having on a stage. I could not learn my lines. I couldn't memorize them for anything. I mean, even now, I don't hardly even remember what the show was about. But that doesn't matter. At any rate, let me just be transparent. I was homeschooled. And this show was a homeschool show. So it didn't have a lot of backbone. It didn't have a lot of the resources that you guys have in the public or private school system. But we had a director, and she sat me down and said, look, if you don't put in the same work here that you put into music, I wasn't even in drumline yet. I think I was in middle school. But I was already taking lessons and playing, and I excelled in most of my musical endeavors already at this point. But she said, if you don't put the same work here that you put into your music, you're going to sink this whole show. And for whatever reason, that really struck me hard. If I could spend 3 hours perfecting a passage of the Moonlight Sonata on the piano when I was 12 years old, why can't I spend 30 minutes drilling my lines? I mean, seriously. That was the moment I realized it's not that I didn't have the ability. It's that I wasn't applying it. And when I did, suddenly, I wasn't the weak link anymore. Now, I'll admit, I dropped the line on show night, and it was the most awkward, felt like hours of my life when it was really just a couple of seconds. I'm glad there's not a video of this thing out there floating around. We didn't have that privilege or ability back then. But the person backstage, the stage manager, didn't even save me with my line. No one else on the stage did either. I don't even remember what happened or how we recovered, but we did. But the bottom line is I wasn't the weak link anymore. I stepped up because I had the ability. And the same lesson applies now. You already have the tools for your academics. You just have to decide to use them. It's not hard. They're the same tools, the same things, the same connections in your brain. Now, here's the big picture. And listen close. because this is where it gets real and where it gets real important. And the core of my mission in doing this for you guys, the fine arts are not extra. They're not cute electives. They're disciplines that build the kind of students who go out and change the world. And that's not just me hyping you up. That's a fact. Like I said, there are statistics behind this. And maybe we'll do an episode about that, but it'll be long and drab and boring. But we'll do it anyway because it's important. Why are the arts so important? What happens when the arts do get cut out of school? Because there are very direct correlations of things that happen that are not good when arts programs are removed from schools or districts. But we do know that every study shows that fine arts kids are more likely to graduate, more likely to go to college, more likely to hold leadership positions later in life. Why? Because you already live in a world of deadlines, pressure, collaboration, high stakes. You've already been tested. While other students might get rattled when a teacher throws a pop quiz or when a group project fails and falls apart, you already know how to pivot, how to grind, and how to perform under pressure. That's real life. I mean, think about it. When the curtain rises, you don't get a redo. You deliver. That's real life training. When your conductor counts off, you don't get to say, hold on, I'm not ready. You're either locked in or you're exposed. That's accountability. When your tech director hands you a note at midnight during tech week, you don't complain. You adjust and make it work. That's resilience. These aren't just theater lessons, they're life lessons. They're shaping you into the kind of adult who doesn't just survive in the world, you thrive in it. Now, why does this matter right now? Because your generation, the students in fine arts right now, you are the proof that this stuff works. You are the evidence administrators cannot ignore. Every test you ace, every GPA point that you raise, every scholarship you earn in the future, it all builds a case. A case that says cutting the arts is cutting excellence. Cutting the arts is cutting opportunity. And I'll even venture to say as far as that cutting arts cuts the soul open of a community and not in a good way. And let me tell you, when the adults in the room sit down to make budget decisions, they look at data. They look at numbers. And you know what? As much as it pains me to say, you are the numbers. Every one of you who shows up academically strong makes the data undeniable. Will they make that correlation? I don't know. But when enough of you show up, they can't deny it. They all have to make that correlation. They'll have to see that, oh my gosh, these are the theater kids. These are the band kids. Because you guys are a large population of the school. Fine arts is easily, undeniably, the largest clubs, if you will, in the school. Is the football team big? Sure is. Fine arts is bigger. But here's the thing. I mean, football brings in money to the school. Fine arts spends it. There's the dig. You want to protect your program? Don't just crush your monologue. Crush your math test. Don't just bring the house down in a musical number. Bring your English grade up a letter. Every single success is an argument for the arts to stay and grow. But it's not just about protecting what you have. It's about legacy. 10 years from now, when you come back, and you will, you always do, and you sit in those auditorium seats as an alum, do you want to see a thriving program filled with kids who get to experience what you did? Who get to experience the growth that you had? the molding into the person that you've become? Do you want them to have that? Or do you want to walk into a dark, empty stage that's dusty and falling apart because nobody fought for it? Your choices this semester, how you show up as a student and an artist. You're part of that legacy. So here's my challenge. Band kids, don't stop at being the cleanest marching block. Don't stop at having the best music, best horn runs, cleanest drum line, best guard. Be the sharpest minds in the room, because we already know you are. Act like it. Choir kids, don't just blend your voices, blend your excellence with your academics. Orchestra kids, don't just tune your instruments, replace your strings, or whatever it is you need to do. Tune your focus. And my theater kids, you've got to wake up. Step into the school year like it's opening night. Your lines already memorized, your energy already high, ready to deliver the performance of your life, not just on stage, but in every classroom that you walk into. Because fine arts isn't just what you do, it's who you are. And the way you show up in school this year, that's going to prove to everyone, administration included, that cutting the arts would be the dumbest move they could ever make. Now, I know I'm getting heated up, and I'm not saying this because they're threatening to cut arts if you're listening to this. I don't even know where you are. I don't know who my followers are. I have an idea of where you may be, but I don't know who you are. I don't know what schools you go to. I'm not saying they're going to cut your programs, but the way things look now, they're always looking for reasons to cut something. And the arts have been under fire for the 30 years that I've been in education. Don't give them a reason. Stand up en masse and crush your academics. Make them see this change and step back and go, oh my goodness, who are these kids? What happened to them over the summer? And let them realize that it's not something that happened. It's because of who you are, and it's always been there. They've just never paid attention. So that's enough. Fine arts family, welcome back. Welcome back to school. I believe in you. And I know you've got the grit, the fire, the creativity to crush this year. Now just go show the world that fine arts kids aren't just the ones making noise, painting the sets, or taking bows. You're the ones setting the bar. Does that sound familiar? You're setting the bar. And hey, if you're struggling, reach out to somebody, to your director, to your teachers, to your fellow students, your parents, other adults. You are not alone in this. We are a community and we rise together. You would be amazed at how many of the teachers in your schools stand behind you kids, as well as your community. Maybe not so much the administration, and in some districts they do, but I'm just speaking from my experience working in a school and knowing that the administration was always on our case and looking for reasons to cut this or that or to get rid of us altogether. But we're not going to let that happen, are we? Now go get to class and maybe, just maybe, do that homework before rehearsal tonight. Priorities. Prioritize your academics. I would love to sit here and say that your arts are going to take you far and that's all you need. But you can't get anywhere without a solid foundation of academics. So before rehearsal, get that work done. And I'll see you on stage, in the pit, or in the stands. But until then, keep creating, keep grinding, and keep proving that the arts are unstoppable. This has been a SoundstageEDU podcast where the arts aren't just programs. They're a way of life. Catch you next time. And remember, let's raise the bar together.